Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to Roundtable. I am Vinny Close, Assistant Council Commissioner for Roundtable Program and Support here in Gray Trail Council, and we're happy that you joined us today. Now you might be wondering, hey, didn't you guys do this the other day? Well, yes, we did, and it was a disaster. We had audio problems, nobody could hear me or hear anything, you just kind of heard static. Well, we're back in the studio here on Saturday the 10th. We're re-recording everything as if it never happened. So, let's get started like we do. We've got a lot of information to share with you over the next hour. Let's get started with the Pledge of Allegiance, Scout Oath, and Scout Law, this month presented by Scouts from Pack 3520 in Hinckley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty, to guide my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help with other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and irreverent.
All right, thanks guys. We want Scouts from your pack to lead us in the Pledge, Oath, and Scout Law. If you're interested, if you've got some Scouts that would be really great at doing this, let us know in the chat, shoot us an email offline, and we'll contact you after the broadcast to make arrangements. We want to welcome those of you that have joined us online. We're happy that you've joined us. Now, to help us track attendance, share your unit number and city in the live chat. And if you have any questions during the broadcast, let us know, and we'll get them answered either in the chat or live on air. Now, if you have any questions about something that you've seen during Roundtable, whether it's this episode or a previous one, or you just have a scouting question and don't know who to ask, let us know. We have a very simple form we've created that goes directly to me to get your question or problem answered. We've already done a bunch of help with some Scouts and Scout leaders. We had a bunch of questions in the past month about unit and member renewal that we were able to get taken care of for people, so we're always available to help you. You can see the address to that form below on your screen there, gtcscouting.org/roundtable. And we may even use your question in a future episode. We have had some topic suggestions come from the feedback that we've gotten. All right, it's time for our safety moment. And for this month, it's a video on the who, what, where, when, and how to doing a safety moment. You should be doing safety moments at before every scouting event, whether those are den meetings, pack meetings, committee meetings, campouts, and more. Presenting the video this month is Richard Borlon, Scouting America's Director of Environment, Health, and Safety.
What do nuclear power plants, construction sites, aircraft carriers, and many hospitals have in common with scouting? All of these entities are constantly looking for ways to eliminate hazards that could be life-altering or fatal. One tool used by many safety-conscious groups is a safety moment or safety briefing that start each meeting or activity with a pause to discuss a hazard or risk that can be prevented. Why? Because the safety moment focuses the attention of the group on safety and how to achieve it. Let's talk about who, what, when, where, and how to do a safety moment in scouting. Who can deliver a safety moment? Every youth or leader with some preparation can step up. Go ahead, don't be shy. So when and where should a safety moment be delivered? The ideal time is at the beginning of a meeting. Your roundtable, board, or committee meeting are just before an activity, especially for those programs that have above average risks, like going shooting, climbing, or engaging in aquatics activities. You're probably asking yourself, but what makes a great safety moment? Almost anything that focuses or educates on the audience on a topic makes a great safety briefing. While the BSA publishes several safety moments, you can also create your own. Topics can include the use of checklists or safety tools such as pause, or focus on something specific like hydration, safe driving, or simply the location of fire extinguishers, AEDs, or evacuation routes at your meeting place. The Guide to Safe Scouting, the Scouting Safely website, and the health and safety newsletters are also great sources of ideas. Discussing a past incident or near miss is fine if the focus is on learning and prevention, not blame. Finally, how should the safety moment be delivered? If you have information that's accurate, all safety moments should be delivered using facts, simple language, and should be appropriate to the audience. Using a handout, slides, or a demonstration will help to assure that those who hear the message understand it and know how to apply it. The message should be delivered in a few minutes. Just make it simple, easy to understand, and help the group know how to apply the message. Thanks for watching, and if you have a favorite safety moment, send it to us at health.safety@scouting.org. We may publish yours.
All right, thank you, Richard. Up next now is our membership moment, and we're going to talk about preparing for those Arrow of Light to Scouts BSA crossovers. They're going to be starting soon. Is your pack ready? Now, in scouting, we always want to be prepared. The Cub Scout program aims to prepare Cub Scouts to become members of a Scouts BSA troop. The Arrow of Light to Scouts BSA transition is an exciting time for both packs and troops. Now, while there's no requirement for when this transition takes place, it's important that both the pack and the troop work together to ensure that the process is seamless and fun for both the youth and families. Ideally, the move from a pack to a troop should take place in time for the new Scouts to become familiar with their new patrol members, their troop guide, and their troop leaders, and for them to begin working on requirements to prepare for attending their first Scouts BSA summer camp. As a troop leader, I wholeheartedly agree. On behalf of all troops everywhere, I beg all packs and dens, please, please, please don't wait until May or June to do your crossovers. We really want those Scouts in the troop early so they can get acclimated to everybody. We can go on a couple of campouts with them before. We don't want their first camp out with the troop to be summer camp. We'd like to get them acclimated before then. Now, pack and troop leaders should be in constant communication with one another. There are many things throughout the program year that the leaders can do to show Cub Scouts what Scouts BSA has to offer. You could be organizing visits so that Cub Scouts can see how troop meetings are run, planning outings so that Webelos can experience using camping with the patrol method, assigning den chiefs so that parents can see examples of Scouts in action, and so that Cub Scouts have some familiarity with members of the troop that they hopefully will plan to join. And you should plan and conduct a crossover ceremony to welcome those Cub Scouts into the troop. The crossover ceremony should clearly signify the transition to a new level of scouting. Completing the Cub Scout program and beginning the Scouts BSA program is a big accomplishment for a youth, whether or not the Arrow of Light is actually earned. Remember, Arrow of Light earning and crossing over are two separate things. Crossover ceremonies are an important recruiting tool, not only for those participating, but also for those younger dens who can see what is coming next for them in scouting. Now, there are many ways to conduct a crossover ceremony. Some units will provide new Scouts with their handbook, others with a troop neckerchief and slide, and the shoulder loops. Some units will choose to have their Order of the Arrow members perform the ceremony. Whichever method units choose, the ceremony should be meaningful and impactful for all in attendance. I know in my troop, when we go to a crossover ceremony, we kind of do the whole thing where we're welcoming not only the Scout, we're welcoming the family. So when the Scout is crossing over that bridge from Cub Scouts into Scouts BSA, we want the family as well, because we want them to know that they are welcome as well into the program, and that it is not just their son or daughter who is crossing over to the troop. We'll swarm the Scout once they join, once they cross over. We'll have one Scout remove their old Arrow of Light neckerchief and put on their new troop neckerchief and slide. We'll give them custom troop numbers that we have for our troop, and we'll change out their shoulder loops. We'll also make sure that they have a handbook, and then everybody will back away, just like Cinderella when she got presented after the mice and everybody changed her into the princess. Same thing here. Now, there are many ways to find tips and tricks for ensuring a smooth Webelos to Scout transition. Your commissioner service team can be a great help. There's lots of help on the internet if you go and search and do a Google search on crossover ceremonies, as well as Facebook groups for Cub Scout volunteers on ways of having great crossover ceremonies. There's also supplemental training events, such as Cub Scout trainings and University of Scouting. All right, time now for our first of two hot topics for today, and we're going to take a look at your pack's Blue and Gold Banquet. Traditionally held in February to celebrate the birthday of Cub Scouts, which was February of 1930, this video will help provide you with some tips and tricks for putting on a great blue and gold. Presenting tonight's video from the National Council is Anthony Berger, National Director of Cub Scouting.
Here's a little Cub Scout trivia for you. Do you know the story of the first Blue and Gold Banquet and what its purpose was? Today, the Blue and Gold Banquet is associated with the Scouting anniversary in February, and we describe it as the birthday party for Cub Scouting. However, that isn't the origin of the event. Welcome to Roundtable as we explore the Blue and Gold Banquet and learn from each other some proven techniques that make it one of the highlights of the Cub Scouting year. Back to our story, in 1933, only 3 years after Cub Scouting was officially launched, the Cub Scout Leader Roundtable, a publication that nothing like we know Roundtable today, it was suggested that packs organize parent Cub dinners. The first record we have of a Blue and Gold Banquet is from Pack 1 in Michigan City. At the time, the pack was organized by the mothers of the neighborhood. They noticed a lack of participation from fathers and decided to hold a parent Cub dinner. Now, the dinner had a catch. You had to come with your own homemade utensils, forks, knives, and spoons. The idea was to have an activity where fathers and sons could do something together in order to attend the banquet. Over time, the concept of conducting an annual banquet caught on, and soon packs across the country adopted the parent Cub dinner and put their own twist on the event. It wasn't until 1943 that the term Blue and Gold was coined and became associated with the anniversary of Scouting. So this makes the Blue and Gold Banquet the oldest Cub Scouting tradition that we have that was started by a unit that became a national phenomenon. Now, I share this bit of history with you to demonstrate a very important fact about the Blue and Gold Banquet. Your Blue and Gold Banquet is your banquet. I've seen packs all over the country, and I've never seen the same Blue and Gold Banquet. I recommend that you watch the online training module in Cub Scout position-specific training. Now, this is for all positions, and it's simply called Involving Adults in Cub Scouting. It's less than 9 minutes, and it will teach you proven techniques to get more parents and leaders involved in any activity your pack does, such as the Blue and Gold Banquet. Remember that this is a way to build a community among your parents and leaders. It does not have to be a celebration of the Scouting anniversary, and it doesn't have to be when everyone earns their rank. Now look, I'm not suggesting that you throw this great tradition out the window. If you do use your Blue and Gold as a celebration of the Scouting anniversary or as a celebration of rank advancement or both, and everyone loves what you're doing, keep doing it. But if you find that your pack Blue and Gold isn't bringing families together and is not helping you to build a pack community, then perhaps it is time to rethink what your pack is doing. Blue and Gold is a way to bring your parents, leaders, and Cub Scouts together to build a sense of community. That's the whole idea of the original banquet. If you can, this is also an opportunity to engage the community at large by inviting local officials, teachers, and principals. And of course, remember, extend invitations to your charter partner too. Evaluating your Blue and Gold annually ensures success. Now, we're going to cover 4 steps to planning, and at the end, we want you to share with your fellow Cub Scout leaders. Step 1 is to gather the leadership and families of your pack and have a conversation about your Blue and Gold. What have you done in the past? What does everyone like? What are things people don't like? If you could do anything to bring families together in your pack, what would you do? It should be something special that everyone looks forward to. Now, here are some details to consider as you're having this discussion about your Blue and Gold and what it will look like. So, will you have food? And if so, what meal? Yes, your Blue and Gold could be a breakfast event. Will everyone bring something? Will it be prepared? Perhaps even catered? Does anyone in the pack have a connection with a restaurant or a food industry? A tip from the experts: consider a lunch on a Saturday or some other time where people are available to help set up and can enjoy the event without being rushed or worried about bedtimes or homework. Now, our pack decided that since we all wanted to enjoy the event with our families, none of us really wanted to cook for everyone. So this led to learning that our pack secretary had a connection with the local Cattlemen's Association. And the Cattlemen's Association agreed to come out and cook for our Blue and Gold. And families would bring one side and one dessert. This became our pack tradition. And that was one way we were able to build our pack community. Step 2 is to consider the location of your Blue and Gold. Now, the right location can really elevate your event. Here are some questions you should consider when discussing location. Space, right? Of course, can it accommodate all the families in your pack? Does the facility have all the needed things that, if you're going to serve food, can accommodate? What about tables and chairs? What about parking? And is it a place that people can easily get to? Is there a fee to rent the facility? Now, step 3, decide on a time and date. The type of meal, if you decide to have one, will certainly guide the time of day you hold your Blue and Gold. When it comes to setting the date, be open to alternative dates. Good event planning requires that you have at least 2 backup dates. Now, this allows for the person who's going to confirm the facility the ability to pick an already approved alternative date without having to go back to the committee for approval. Now, step 4, real simple, and it's the most fun. How will your pack make your Blue and Gold over-the-top spectacular? Plan for some entertainment. What do I mean by entertainment? Well, that's where the fun comes in. What do your families enjoy? This was always one of the most interesting conversations in our pack, and I learned so much about other people's interests. A tip from the experts here: you don't have to spend a lot of money or even any money on entertainment. There are some great options for free entertainment from other organizations who also have an interest in helping you build and maintain your community. Now, make no mistake, your pack is helping to do just that. Your Blue and Gold can become more than just a banquet. It can help define your community. 1, discuss what you want to accomplish with your Blue and Gold and how. Step 2, identify a location. Step 3, set a time and date with alternative dates. And step 4, make it special. How will you make your Blue and Gold stand out, and how will it help build your scouting community? All right, now it's your turn. Take the remainder of this time to discuss one or more of these questions. Remember to share successes and challenges. You may be surprised to find others have found solutions to the same challenges you're facing. Do you have what you would consider a great Blue and Gold? If so, share with the group what makes it special. What things do you do right to make your Blue and Gold successful? What is your greatest challenge with Blue and Gold? Has anyone had the same challenge and found a solution that works for them? And lastly, what plans do you already have for your Blue and Gold banquet? That's it for now. Have a great Blue and Gold, and we'll see you next time.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Now, before we dive into our second hot topic, we're going to show a video that we recorded last month during our Scouts BSA Roundtable with Lisa Testa, who will be the course director for this year's Wood Badge course. It's 2026. We're having it later this year. By the way, the staff is actually training right next door from our studio here, so they're getting ready for you to all come to Wood Badge. So Lisa is going to talk about what Wood Badge is, when our council's course is later this year, and why you should attend. Let's take a look at that. I want to welcome in our first repeat guest at Roundtable, Lisa Testa, who will be the course director for next year's Wood Badge course. Lisa, welcome.
Thanks, Benny.
You're the course director for our council's Wood Badge course coming up next year. Talk about Wood Badge. All of us in the room here, we've all taken it, so we obviously know it, but for those watching at home that don't know, tell us what Wood Badge is.
Well, Wood Badge is leadership training. Everybody thinks that Wood Badge is some kind of special club or group, and it's really not. It's all about improving ourselves and improving our leadership skills, which then improves our units.
So if I'm a leader, and this is for any program level, whether you're Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, Venturing, Sea Scouts.
The only requirement is that you have your position-specific training already done.
Right.
So if you're a Cub, if you're in Cubs, if you're in Scouts, it's for everybody. Venturing, Sea Scouts, it benefits everyone. It's all the same training because leadership is leadership no matter what level of scouting you're doing.
Why, if I'm a leader, why should I attend Wood Badge? What's in it for me? What am I going to be getting out of it?
Well, it's 2 weekends. So you get 2 weekends out at camp, which is always enjoyable. You're led by a fantastic team of trainers. So I have a wonderful staff that's on board, and we're training and getting ready for the course. And you're going to learn communication skills, listening skills, leadership skills, everything you need to do to work with youth and other adults in your program. If you send your kids to NYLT, this is for Scouts, if you send your Scouts to NYLT, Wood Badge is the perfect complement in adult leadership training so that you can better work with those Scouts to improve your unit. If you're in Cubs, it helps you work and identify leaders. What kind of attributes do your other adults have? What are their skills that you can enhance and develop and help them be better leaders in your Cub units? Because for Cubs, you have such a transition year to year as people age out. You need to be able to identify those parents that can be helpers, future leaders, and hopefully your replacements as you move on to Scouts. For every level of scouting, Wood Badge is a huge help in developing your own personal leadership skills. A lot of companies will actually pay for Wood Badge because they see the benefit of the course in how you work even with your coworkers and the leadership roles you're willing to take at work.
Yeah, that's an important point. So many companies recognize that this is a top-level training course, no different than Six Sigma or 5S or any of those things.
And a lot of those courses actually use some of the Wood Badge curriculum in their course development.
Yeah. I've been in some leadership things at my work where, of course, they were led by Scout leaders, but they did some of the activities that we've done at Wood Badge. They've done them in corporate training.
What did you get out of Wood Badge?
You know, for me, it was really honing in on the patrol method, because you're basically immersed in, you're the Scouts. We're just a little older, but you know, we started out as Cub Scouts on the first day, and then we moved up and became a patrol, and we had patrol leaders and assistant patrol leaders and patrol meetings, and we meet with the SPL and do everything that the Scouts do at the troop level, but now we were doing it, so we got to really get into those experiences and really see how you're supposed to do things, because we all know every troop is unique. They've all got their own little things that they do that maybe it's okay for them, but you're really getting taught, well, this is how we really want you to do it. You know, it's worked good for 110 years, so it must be pretty good.
I think it also is helpful as you go through Cub Scouts and Scouts in the Wood Badge course to see what it feels like for those youth who cross over and go from Cubs into Scouts. What does it feel like to be with new people that you need to learn to work with? And it gives you a whole different view on what those kids experience as they go through the scouting program.
Yeah, and that's hard for people like us to sometimes grasp, because we've been in it for so long. We know the lingo, we know everything that's going to be coming up, and we have to sometimes sit back and look at this through the eyes of somebody that doesn't know anything. Talk a second about the beading ceremony. You've got a few of them hanging there.
Yes, so then we come to you when you've completed your tickets. So you've talked with your ticket counselor, they've signed off that you've completed your tickets, and then it goes to the course director, and then it comes here to the council, and then usually the course director will call you and say, okay, when would you like to have your presentation done? And we send someone out to wherever you are and wherever you want that to be. A lot of times we do it at the unit. So it's a great thing for Scouts to see that even adults were still learning, that we have a lifetime of learning, and Wood Badge is part of that. So we come out, we have a little ceremony, we present your beads and your neckerchief, and you get to wear those forever from then on.
And it's important, like you had said, whenever possible, do those ceremonies in front of the youth so that they know that it's not just them that are doing the learning, that we adults are also involved in that. So they always say, if we can do it at a pack meeting or a troop meeting or a court of honor, it's.
I've been to all of
You've been to all of those,
I've been to all of those.
So we're not. It's not that long. You're in and out in 5-10 minutes, but it's important for them to see that A, this is important, and B, that your adult leaders are serious about improving themselves.
It's also important, I think, for the parents that entrust their Scouts to you to see that you are doing your best to provide the best program possible for their kids.
All right. We've got a slide we want to put up so that everybody can see about our course. As we mentioned, this is an internationally recognized leadership development course for Scouters. It was originally started by Baden-Powell, the founder of the Scouting movement, back in 1919 over in England. And this was a way to ensure that the leaders of Scout troops were getting proper training. The dates for our courses here in Great Trail, you can see they're on screen, April 17th to the 19th and May 16th and 17th. Different location this year. We're out at Manitowoc and Butler this year. Last year we were out at Stambaugh, so different location there. And as you can see, you must attend both sessions. Cost to attend is $315 per person if you pay in full by February 16th. And then I think after that it goes up to, $330 maybe.
Yes.
Is the price. And the most important one on there, financial assistance is available. So just like there's financial assistance available for the youth with NYLT, there is also financial assistance available for those that might need it to attend Wood Badge. In fact, there's a scholarship dinner coming up at the end of January where we'll all get together and like a little mini reunion of all the people that have attended before, but it serves as the proceeds from that going to pay for scholarships for both NYLT and Wood Badge. Right, you can scan the QR code that you see there on screen, or you can do the address at the bottom of the screen there, which is gtcscouting.org/Wood Badge. Is there anything else that we should know about the course or anything like that we want to
I think we've
cover?
gone through most of it, and we just hope, like he said, scan that QR code, look for it online. Registration is open, and we would love to have each and every one of you.
Yeah, the more the better. I forgot to ask, because we have to do this. What is your critter?
I'm a bear.
You used to be a bear. I used to be a bobwhite.
Very good.
So that's one of the things, the patrols, you'll hear a lot about critters. Every patrol is a different animal, and that goes with you. And there's a song that you will sing many, many times. You'll think, how am I going to memorize this? But by the third day, you've got it down pat because you sing it so many times.
And it is funny, you do tend to identify with your critter after a while.
You do, yeah.
You really do. You kind of become one with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, Lisa Testa, she's the course director for next year's Wood Badge course. Lisa, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
If you would like to watch the entire 19-minute video that I did with Lisa last month, it is available on our website at gtcscouting.org/roundtable. All right, now we've got a demo that I'd like to give, and that is about making cool Neckerchief slides. Whenever you talk to Cub Scout leaders and parents, what is the bane of your existence? It's the Neckerchief slides. They always seem to be falling off and losing them. How many parents will tell you that they'll buy 3 or 4 Neckerchief slides some years for their Scouts because they always seem to get lost? Well, we're going to talk for a minute about some of the other cool Neckerchief slides that are, and then I'm going to show you a demo of some ones that I have made that you can do as a den project. These are a lot of fun. So we have a couple here. This is a Neckerchief slide that was sold back in 2023 when Camp Manitowoc had its 100th anniversary. This one here, this is a wooden neckerchief, and I know it's hard to see on camera. You're not going to be able to read the wording, but this wooden slide is made from the same wormy chestnut wood, which is now an extinct tree. It doesn't even exist in nature anymore. This is the same wormy chestnut wood that the Camp Manitowoc Dining Hall is constructed with. So they got some of that wood and made them into neckerchief slides for the 100th anniversary of Camp Manitowoc back in 2023. Some other ones that I've done, I have a collection of neckerchief slides. This is a plastic one. You can see it's a log with an axe in it. Very appropriate for wood badge. For those of you who've gone to wood badge, you know what I'm talking about there. Here is a boot. This is a boot with the laces and the rivets for the boot on the sole. Here is an arrowhead. We've got the Scout sign, and then we have a cast iron skillet with some bacon and eggs cooking on it. So these are all plastic kits. You can buy them online. We'll put a link to the places online where you can buy them in the show notes. Many of these are also sold in the trading post at Camp Manitowoc during Cub Scout and Scouts BSA summer camp. So if you're out at the trading post, you can get them. They come unpainted. You can get some model airplane paints or model paints, and you can paint them up however you want. I've had these for many, many years. I wear them all the time. The kids seem to love them. I wore this to my troop meeting last week, and the kids thought it was cool because it looked like I had bacon and eggs in a skillet on my neck, which of course I did. I have some others, though, that I have made over the years that I'm going to show you. Let me grab these here. So when my son was in Cub Scouts about 15 years ago, his den at the time made these for the Blue and Gold Banquet one year. So this is designed to look like a cupcake. So these are the plastic cups. If you've ever been at a Costco or a Sam's Club on Sample Saturday, you know that they give you the samples in these plastic cups. And then we took a plastic ring and hot glued it onto the back. And then inside here is just some colored cotton. You can see it in the close-up photo that we've got there. And some colored pom-poms that we Elmer's glued in there to kind of look like sprinkles on top of the cupcake. The other one that we did, so I saw on one of the Facebook volunteer groups that somebody had come up with an idea of making neckerchief slides using silicone molds and filling those molds with hot glue and then sticking in a wire or pipe cleaner in the back of it to make a ring so that it makes the ring to go over the neckerchief slides. So I said, let me try that. So I had some silicone molds at home. One was left over from a troop event that my Scouts BSA troop did a couple of years ago. We did a Star Wars themed camp out. So these are going to be hard to see on camera, but we do have a close-up. So I did some slides made from hot glue, and this is Han Solo frozen in carbonite. You can kind of see it there in close-up. If you look over in the lower left corner, you can see Han Solo's head and his body going from left to right. But this was just a silicone mold. I had a hot glue gun and filled it up. Now I will say this large one does use a lot of hot glue. I ended up using almost 2 sticks of glue to make this big one, but then you have this smaller one, and then I just put some pipe cleaners in the back as it was still liquid to stick it in there to make the ring. Now this is probably a little bit too big as a ring, but what I like about using pipe cleaners as opposed to just a smooth wire is the fuzziness of the pipe cleaners tends to grip a little on the neckerchief and it won't fall off as easily. A couple of other tricks about the neckerchiefs themselves. We always hear about how neckerchief slides fall off all the time. That will happen almost every time if you don't roll the neckerchief up. If you just wear the neckerchief like you would a scarf and then put the slide on, that slide is almost always going to fall off. And you also want to be sure that when you're rolling the neckerchief, make sure that you roll it up tight. Do it on a flat surface like a table or even on the floor. If you're at a Cub Scout meeting and you're doing stuff on the floor, that's okay. But make sure that you're actually rolling it up tight. Don't just do the flip. I see that parents do that a lot. They'll take the neckerchief and they'll kind of just flip it over a couple of times to roll it up. that doesn't work. That's the same as if you just didn't have it rolled at all. So it's very important, if you roll it up tight and then put the slide on, it's almost always going to stay on the slide. Alternatively, although I'm not wearing it today, you could use the friendship knot, which is what the rest of the world does. Most of the rest of the world that uses neckerchiefs, they do not use slides. They use a friendship knot, which is a knot tied at the ends of the neckerchief. And it's called a friendship knot because typically that knot is tied by somebody else standing in front of you, hence extending a greeting of friendship. If you want to go online, you can see there are numerous videos, including on Scout Life magazine, for how to tie the friendship knot. Once you learn it, it's pretty easy to do, and it will stay put. I don't even untie my neckerchief that I normally wear as a council commissioner. I just leave that on and just put it over my head and keep it that way. So lots of good tips on ways that you can do some creative stuff for your dens, for your upcoming blue and gold. Now, if you have something that you've done that you would like to share with everyone, let us know in the comments and we'll get back to you. We know that you're doing cool stuff. Let's share everyone's experiences. All right, time now for our second hot topic, and it's all about race time, our signature event in scouting, the Pinewood Derby. Did you know that more Pinewood Derby cars are sold every year in America than the #1 selling vehicle, the Ford F-150 truck? It's true. We'll give you ideas on how to put on an awesome Pinewood Derby. Anthony Berger is back with this video presentation.
On your mark, get set, go! It's race time. The Pinewood Derby and the Rain Gutter Regatta are two of Cub Scouting's most iconic activities. What's the purpose behind these events? How do you run a successful race? Can this activity really help your Cub Scouts do better in high school? Welcome to Roundtable as we discuss the race time adventures for all ranks in Cub Scouting. The race time adventures are one of several elective adventures that can be done as a pack activity. Many packs conduct the iconic Pinewood Derby, others conduct a Rain Gutter Regatta, and some even do both. The requirements for the race time adventures are designed to make it easy for Cub Scouts to earn the adventure if the pack already conducts one of these races. In addition to the obvious experience of building a Pinewood Derby car or Rain Gutter Regatta boat, the adventure gets into the science behind what makes a Pinewood Derby car or Rain Gutter Regatta boat go. Like all good events, the first step is to set a date, time, and location. Now, a tip from the experts is to consider a date and time that allows plenty of time to set up, conduct the event, and then break down. For example, having the event on a weekend during the day may increase the number of parents who can actually help with the event. And a good location may not be your normal meeting place. These events require a lot of space, either inside or outside. I've seen a lot of races, and the ones that I find the most fun are the events that have other things going on during the race to address that downtime that happens when Cub Scouts aren't racing. I've seen snack bars, music, games, and crafts. These added activities also take up additional space that a normal meeting location may not have. Now, another thing to consider for your location is if this is an opportunity to be visible to the public. Conducting your race at a local park, a mall, or during a community event will raise awareness of Cub Scouting and could get you more families involved in your pack. Now, review the race time adventure requirements and the recommended activities for the requirements in the den meeting resources found on scouting.org. If you're planning the event for your pack, we would recommend reviewing the Arrow of Light race time adventure, as it has the most requirements, and have den leaders review their rank-specific race time adventures. You can get to the Arrow of Light race time adventure by simply scanning this QR code. Now, a big question is, how will you conduct your race? Will it be a single elimination or double elimination? Will you race by dens? Will you conduct heats where cars race against one another, or will you determine a winner by their race time? I don't have recommendations on how you conduct your race, but I do recommend that you determine this early and that you include as many parents in the conversation when making this decision. Once you've made a decision, communicate the rules early and often. Be clear that one objective is for for parents and legal guardians to spend time with their Cub Scout to make their car or boat. That adult help is expected, and it is actually a goal of conducting the race. When you make the goal of spending quality time together, everyone wins. Now, here's a common question. Is there such a thing as too much help from a parent? Well, there are two sides to this argument. On one hand, you may have parents who think that building the car or boat must be done completely by the Cub Scout alone, without help, and they're upset when they see cars or boats that are built with a lot of adult help. Now, on the other hand, you have parents who are skilled, they're enthusiastic about using their skills and tools to make projects with their children. Most parents are actually in the middle, right? We just want our children to have a good time and experience. Again, communicate early and often that Cub Scouts are expected to have help, and this is an opportunity to do a project together. Now, you can help families who don't have access to tools or equipment to have a build day. Now, a build day is when someone who has tools and equipment hosts others to come over to use them. Now, some scout shops even host build days. We're always looking for ways to make Cub Scouting fun, not just for Cub Scouts, but for parents too. And one way packs do this is to allow parents to build a car or boat and have a separate race for adults. If you choose to do this, you want to make sure that you stick to the same rules as you had for the Cub Scouts. This makes it a joint experience. Make sure that only adults race other adults. Now, you have an event that parents are looking forward to just as much as their Cub Scout. One of the requirements for a Pinewood Derby car is that it can weigh no more than 5 ounces. Now, this means having access to one or more small scales so cars can be checked in. During check-in, cars are not only weighed, but they're also checked for dimensions that are outlined in the rules, such as width and possibly height, if the car will pass under a finish line, and any other rules that were established by your pack. Now, a tip from the experts is to think through your check-in. The last thing you want is to have 30 Cub Scouts show up at the same time to have their cars checked in. Some packs address this by having a check-in a day prior to race day. This does mean that cars, once checked in, are secured until race day. Now, another way to address this is to simply be prepared. If you have a large pack, stagger check-in times and have plenty of stations to check cars in. The great thing about the Rain Gutter Regatta is that it's a lot easier to put on than a Pinewood Derby race. The Rain Gutter Regatta boats are all the same. They just need to be assembled and decorated, so there's not a lot of tools needed. The track is easy too. As the name implies, you can make a homemade track from rain gutters, or you can purchase an inflatable one at your local scout shop for about $35. Now that we covered some basics in conducting the event, let us spend some time talking about the purpose of having a race time event. I've often said that in Cub Scouting, we teach physics to kindergartners. Now, we don't call it physics, we call it the Pinewood Derby race. The basic principles of physics are taught through a fun and engaging experience. Motion, gravity, work, energy, motion, mass, power, weight, and more are all basic concepts in physics. There's a real power in having experiences as a child that can connect to concepts later in life. For example, a Cub Scout who has participated in the Pinewood Derby for 3 years can visualize from their experience their car moving down that track. They can visualize the slope, the straightaway, and they may recall their car being weighed. This experience stays with them, and when they are older and are introduced to the scientific principles that were part of the experience, they're more likely to understand those scientific principles and apply them. Now, when designing the race time adventures, we wanted to make these connections to scientific principles as part of the content and requirements. The basic principles of work, gravity, force, and friction are presented in age-appropriate manner and then connected with a real-world experience. That's what I love about scouting. It's a game with a purpose. On the surface, we are just making cars and boats and racing them. But what we're really doing is teaching Cub Scouts about science. We are spending quality time with our kids, building a lifelong love of learning in our kids, and looking for opportunities to instill the values of the Scout Oath and Scout Law. Now, it's your turn. Consider these questions for the remainder of your time together. Do you conduct a Pinewood Derby, rain gutter regatta, or do you do both? What are some things you can do to make your race day special for your Cub Scouts and families? What challenges have you faced and how did you overcome them? How did you determine the winner of your races, and do you have other awards and recognition? What did you learn from this roundtable that you plan to take back to your pack? All right, that's it for this roundtable. We'll see you again at our next roundtable.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Now, I've got a quick story that I want to share. So for all of those Cub Scouts out there that think they're not going to be able to win, they're never going to have all of the bells and whistles and gadgets that they see in the scout shop for making their car bigger, better, and faster, I'm going to share a story with you. This is a true story about some engineers who tried to make a winning car. So, in the late 1990s, Car and Driver magazine decided that they would have their 4 staff engineers build a Pinewood Derby car and race it against cars that were built by Penske Cars Limited of IndyCar fame, Darrell Waltrip's NASCAR team, and Elliott Forbes Robinson's 600 racing team. So the big boys of professional racing. Now, to make sure that they were kept honest, the Car and Driver magazine and all the professionals, they used Pinewood Derby rules, they were monitored by Cub Masters, and they also raced against 4 Cub Scouts from Atlanta. The result? Car and Driver's car ended up costing $2,318, including engineering labor, and still lost to the Cub Scouts. So for all of you Cub Scouts out there that think you're not going to be able to win, graphite the heck out of your axles and you'll be fine. You'll beat even the professionals that put in computer and engineering time to do it. All right, let's now take a look at upcoming events. We've got a lot of them coming up, so let's start with that. First is our Chariot Race. You can see here, this will be hosted by Troops 1 and 7001. This event goes on. It is open to all Cub Scouts all over the council. You're going to build a chariot out of a cardboard box and race it, as you can see there. They're all wearing helmets for safety, but they're going to race it around the gym floor. This is a in-camera video from somebody wearing a GoPro. They're going to also dress up all of the cars, decorate them. They'll even wear costumes to go along with what's being raced. You can see that there's one that looks like a fighter jet, and now there's the crew wearing all the flight suits. It's a lot of fun. If your pack has never done it before, you want to go and do it. It's going to be on January 31st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Higher Middle School in Akron. The cost to participate is $30 per pack. As a pack, you can then enter as many chariots as you want. You can go online when you go to register and you can get a copy of all the rules. But if your pack has never done this before, you owe it to yourself to go and do this. Dens can also do it as well. You don't have to do it as an entire pack. A lot of times they'll do 1 chariot or 2 per den, depending on how many they get as participants. All right, next up are our Cub Scout Freeze-Outs. Freeze-Outs are kind of like a mini Klondike Derby that the Scouts BSA members do. There are various activities that they can do. If there is snow on the ground, like there was last year during these events, you'll be able to do some sled riding down some of the hills out at camp. But you're basically going to be outside for most of the day doing some scout skills, some fun games and activities, maybe a little knot tying, maybe a little first aid. Go warm up over by some of the fires that they'll have going, sip some hot cocoa afterwards. A lot of fun. There are 6 different sessions that you can choose from and different locations. On January 31st, there's 4 sessions and 2 locations to pick from. 8:30 to 11 and then 12:30 to 3 at Camp Manitowoc, or 8:30 to 12:15 or 1 to 4:15 out at Camp Stambaugh. Then on February 7th, you can go from 8:30 to 1 at Camp Butler or 1 to 5 over at Camp Manitowoc. Now these events are free. They're part of the adventure fee. So you want to go and attend. You can pick any of those sessions, any of those times, and you can attend as a pack or a den or an individual. The registration information you can see there is at the bottom of the screen. Also coming up later this month, I want to get the save the date information for you out there, are our district Pinewood Derbies. Now these are different than in the past. You don't need to qualify to attend a district Pinewood Derby. District Pinewoods are now open to everybody within the district, no qualifying necessary. These are also free events as part of the adventure fee. Each district will be holding one, and you can see those dates and locations on the screen. Stambaugh District will be March 14th at Eastwood Mall. Soaring Eagle is going to have theirs on April 18th at Summit Mall in Akron. Canal District, your district event is going to be on May 2nd. They are still working on the location. We'll have that information for you at the March Roundtable, but you can mark May 2nd on your calendar for that. And Crooked River District, you're going to be the next day on May 3rd, and that is going to be at Lakeview Intermediate School in Stowe. Again, these are all free events. You don't need to qualify. There are rules that you will need to follow that might be different than your PAC's rules. So you want to make sure that either your PAC adjusts their rules to match the district or vice versa. Finally, we have range and target activities that will be coming up. These are free events as part of the adventure fee. They're going to start on most weekends starting April 25th and go all the way through October 10th. And those will be held at Camps Butler and Stambaugh. There'll be 3 activities that you can participate in out there. It is BBs, archery, and slingshots, are also known as wrist rockets. But if your PAC signs up to attend, you'll get to do all 3 of those activities. And again, this is a free event. It's paid for through the adventure fee, so make sure you take advantage of it. As you can see online there, you can register for all of those events at the web address there, gtcscouting.org/calendar-events. All right, we want to talk for a minute about some fundraising activities that are going to be happening. The first is the Spring Flower Sale fundraiser, which gets underway on February 13th. Details for that you can see right there. You can sign up and get all the information, including the order forms and the pricing information, at gtcscouting.org/flower sale. The product offerings and the prices are the same as they were last year. And the council gets no cut of this. The unit gets to keep all of the profits for the sales. The flowers themselves will be in early May, in time for you to give them for Mother's Day. So that if you've never done this before, there are hanging baskets as well as flats and half flats that you'll be selling. So go online, and the event itself will start on February 13th. Each district has contacts on there. I think they're looking for some more volunteers that can help out, whether that is with the sales or with the distribution. Last year I went and helped them out in the parking lot over at Camp Butler. We ended up filling the parking lot there with all of the flats and baskets to help get that out to the units. So you can find all that information on the council's website. All right, up next is another fundraiser. This is a new one for Great Trail Council, and it is the Designer Purse Bingo. It is going to be on March 19th. I had to look there to find out the date, but it is March 19th. It is going to be at the Stowe VFW Hall on Fish Creek Road. It is $50 a ticket. That ticket gets you dinner, soft drinks, dessert, and of course bingo. You will get there will be 10 games of bingo included with your ticket. You can purchase additional bingo cards if you want, and there are additional boards. The prizes that are going to be available if you happen to win a bingo is there's going to be $5,000 to $7,000 in designer purses and handbags that will be the prizes. Now there's also going to be some side raffles and some 50-50 as well. Doors will open at 5 o'clock, and the bingo is going to start at 6:15. Only 200 tickets are going to be sold, and the tickets will be available starting on February 2nd. There will be information on the council calendar, which we've shared a couple of times on here so that you can get information from that. All the proceeds from this fundraiser will benefit Great Trail Council. All right, before you know it, it will be summertime, and that means Cub Scout day and overnight camps. Let's look at the slide that we've got to share with you the dates for this year's sessions. Day camp, let's start there first. Invention Convention is the theme for this year's day camp, and there are 5 sessions to choose from. These are open to all Cub Scouts of all ranges. June 19th to the 21st at Camp Stambaugh, June 22nd to the 26th, and June 24th to the 26th. So there is a 5-day and a 3-day session that will be going on simultaneously. Those are both at Camp Butler. Then June 29th to July 1st at Camp Butler, and July 9th to the 11th, also at Camp Butler. And then overnight camp. This is where you get to camp the same as the Scouts BSA kids do. This is going to be held at Camp Manitowoc, and there are 2 sessions to choose from, June 17th to the 20th, or July 30th to August 2nd. Now, overnight camp is open to all Cub Scouts who will be Wolf, Bear, Webelos, or Arrow of Light this coming fall. So if you're going to be in 2nd through 5th grade in the fall, we don't open up overnight camp to the Lions or the Tigers. Now, overnight camp is a little different in that the packs are going to register and pay as a unit. For day camp, you can register for those individually. We want to remind everybody, you can attend any session you want. We know a lot of packs will do registrations on behalf of their members, but let's say they've picked a date that you're not available. That doesn't or shouldn't mean that you don't get to attend day camp. You can attend any of the sessions that are available, even if it's one that your district is not hosting, and even if it's one that the rest of your pack has not decided to participate in. You can meet lots of new friends by going to day camp. That's how my son did it when he was in. He made a lot of new friends at day camp and still friends with some of them to this day. So that is what is upcoming for our summer fun. Registration for that is going to open in April, and when it does, you can go to manitowoc.org/summer to get all the information, the leader guides, as well as the information on registration. In February, there is going to be a leaders meeting for overnight camp. The details of that will be coming out shortly and will be shared on social media as far as when that event will be taking place. But we know it'll be in February, and it will be here at the council office in Stowe. All right. Up next, we want to share with you the calendar of upcoming training to make sure that you have them on your unit calendars to save the date. Remember, every scout deserves a trained leader. First up is our Rangemaster training. There's some sessions going on. One of them happens to be today, January 10th, but there's also February 21st and March 28th. Those are from 9 to 5 p.m., and they're going to be held simultaneously at both camps Manitowoc and Stambaugh. It is free to take the training, and we really need Rangemasters. All of those weekend events that we talked about earlier under the events for the Cub shooting sports and range and target activities, we need lots of Rangemasters to staff them. I believe it's something like you need 12 Rangemasters per session for the Cub Scout range and target activities events. So if you're able to do it, please step up and help with that. Den Chief training. If you have Den Chiefs and they are not trained, make sure you get them trained. It is important that they have taken the proper training. Our next session is coming up on March 7th from 8:30 to noon at Camp Manitowoc. This is another free activity as part of the adventure fee. So if you have Den Chiefs, or if you would like to have Den Chiefs, talk to your nearest Scouts BSA troop and tell them that you want some Den Chiefs to help out with your dens. We talked earlier, we showed you the video from Wood Badge. The course is coming up. It is 2 sessions, April 17th to the 19th at Camp Manitowoc, and May 16th and 17th at Camp Butler. You must attend both sessions. You're in for all of those. You can't say on Saturday that, oh, I need to go to my kid's soccer game or something. You're there for the entire time, so make sure that you're available and committed for all of those dates. The cost to attend is $315 per person, but we want to point out that there is financial assistance available. Cost should not be an obstacle to attending one of these events. We actually are having a fundraising dinner later this month where previous Wood Badge and NYLT staff come together and we do a fundraiser dinner to help pay for those scholarships. So again, don't let the cost scare you away. There is financial assistance available if it is needed. And we want to remind you that the early bird pricing for this, that $315 price, that pricing will end on February 16th. Finally, BALOO training. Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation is the acronym. And that is going to be held on May 25th and 6th at Camp Manitowoc. This is an overnight event. You'll actually be camping out overnight for that. It is free as part of the adventure fee. It's important that every pack has at least one BALOO trained member on every outing that you do. There has to be at least one. It's always a good idea to have more than one, because if something happens and that person that is BALOO trained has to leave in the middle, if you don't have anybody else that's there that is also BALOO trained, you have to cancel the event. That's the scouting rules for that. So always a good idea to have more than one person available and BALOO trained for that. If you're not able to make that May session, the next session is going to be offered in October out at Camp Stambaugh. You can register for all of those training events online at gtcscouting.org/calendar-events. All right, well, that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everyone for watching and everyone who helped behind the scenes. Hopefully you liked this one a little better than the one that we did on Thursday, where you couldn't even hear me talk. Our next Scouts BSA Roundtable will be Thursday, February 5th, and our next Cub Scout Roundtable will be on Thursday, March 5th, all right here beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube Live. A couple things to talk about for our Scouts BSA Roundtable. We're going to have people here on camera that are going to talk about NYLT for our youth leaders in the Scouts BSA troops, and we're also going to have people from staff for our Scouts BSA Summer Camp to talk about all the exciting new changes that are coming to Scouts BSA Summer Camp this year, including the opening of our new Skilled Trades Education Center out at Camp Manitowoc. To close out today, we have a video from the National Council illustrating Scouts in action doing what else but participating in the Pinewood Derby. Feel free to share this video with prospective families to let them see some of the fun activities that they get to do in scouting. Thank you for all that you do for scouting. We'll see you on the trail. Good night, everyone.